All right, let's see what the show's going to be called this week. Bandage. Today on the Bandage Says podcast, it's been 2 years of 2 weeks to slow the spread, so I figured what better thing to discuss than how I avoided going completely insane. So go ahead and stick around. All right, I am going to be 100% upfront and honest with you. I did not even open up my RSS reader, my news aggregator, so I have no idea what's been going on in the world. I don't know if YouTube rolled out a new grant program where they want to send microphone reviewers $10 billion. If that is the case, let me know in the comments because I am very interested in that, YouTube. I don't know if that happened because I don't care. This last week was the 2-year anniversary of 2 weeks to slow the spread, meaning I have been locked inside my own personal hell, my personal prison, my home prison, my house arrest home, for 2 years. 2 years I have been locked inside here, and I figured what better way to celebrate than maybe buy a watch, because I'm not going to buy a watch for 300 episodes. It has to be 500, right? It has to be 500. Can't just do it for every 100. That's too much. So it's got to be 500 episodes. So maybe in the future I'll buy a watch. But what other way to celebrate than to discuss how I coped with it and kept from completely losing my damn mind? I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. I nearly lost my mind, and some people would argue that I did lose my mind multiple times. But I'm still alive. I'm still here. I'm still locked inside my prison because I'm still not allowed to go into my office. I still can't interact with people. I don't know why. It's stupid. And I don't think it's over yet. I think they're hanging on to the power and they're going to say, you know what? We need you to stay home a little bit longer. I'm waiting for it. Just wait for it. I swear it's going to happen. So I came up with a list of what helped me cope over the last couple of years. Maybe this will help you, maybe you'll find this interesting, or maybe this is just an episode for me just venting and trying to understand how I survived the last couple of years. The first thing, and the most important thing for me, maybe I shouldn't say the most important thing, because the most important thing was hanging out with people in Discord and talking to them. So I guess I'll start with that. Hanging out with people in Discord and talking to them, talking to friends and family on the phone, all of that was so incredibly helpful because I have been locked inside for about 2 years now, and the only time that I have interacted with people is when I go to the store to get groceries or pick up a package at my P.O. box. I don't interact with other people. I can't go into the office, so I don't see anyone. So having the ability to jump in a voice chat and just talk to people about whatever we want, or play Minecraft together, or watch YouTube videos together, or watch movies together, was so incredibly helpful and beneficial to keep me from feeling so gosh darn isolated. If I didn't have that, I would have lost my mind. I would have been a crazy person by now, and if anybody has gone crazy during this time, I get it. I get it. Do not be ashamed of that. Seek help if you need it, because golly, even with the ability to talk to people, I felt as though I was about to lose my damn mind due to the isolation. And I'm an antisocial person. I am not a social butterfly. I don't do well in groups of people. I don't do well interacting with people. And even I struggled with the isolation, so I understand how difficult it must have been for people. And I also understand how difficult it must have been for people who have been locked inside with 1 or 2 other people without anywhere to go, because that would be equally difficult in a very different way. I don't know which one I would have preferred. I imagine being isolated and being able to talk to people is likely the best thing that could have happened for me, because being stuck in a tiny box with multiple people for 2 years, that would have been very difficult. The second thing is working nonstop. I struggled with this initially back in March of 2020, where I said, I don't want to make videos right now. I just want to I want to just sit down and watch the news and try to understand, but I forced myself to keep doing it. Going against the advice of other people saying, you don't have to make videos. There's plenty of videos out there that people can watch. But I forced myself to do it. And the reason I did that is because I understand myself. Because I know I would have just sat there, scrolled through social media, looked at the news, and just gone full-on doomer from day one. But by working, it accomplished multiple things. First one, just being a distraction. It allowed me something to focus my energy on. Okay, I need to go ahead and do this. And while I'm recording a review and recording a podcast or doing this, I can't really focus on any of that craziness that's happening, so it's a great distraction. But secondly, and the most important reason, I think, is it gave me a purpose. If I had stopped making videos and just focused on all the terrible news that was happening, I don't know what my purpose would have been. I would have been aimless. I would have been depressed, miserable, just a complete mess, because I would have lost those feelings of accomplishment that you get whenever you finish a video, whenever you publish something, as well as being force-fed all this terror, all this fear through the news. It would have been a perfect storm of, we're going deep and dark into depression now. So by forcing myself to work nonstop and continue to put out videos, probably one of the best decisions I made for myself over the last 2 years. The next thing was escapism. Even though I was working a lot, even though I had a bunch of amazing people that I talk to on Discord regularly, people I talk to on the phone, middle of last year, a year and a couple of months of being locked down and isolated, I started to go full-on doomer. It was bad. Full-on doomer, just a real pain in the butt to interact with. Hated everything, didn't want to do anything, and escapism is what helped me. I know it's juvenile, I know they're young adult books, but the thing that helped me the most was reading the Harry Potter series. That was so incredibly beneficial, and the reason why I knew that I was in a dark place, I was reading it thinking, gosh, I would love to be an 11-year-old going away to some boarding school, some wizarding school. I don't want to be 11 again. That would be a nightmare. Do you remember what it was like being 11? It was terrible. You were awkward. You didn't understand anything. No, that would be horrible. But I was down so bad. I think that means something else. I don't know all this slang. Although I guess, yeah. I was in such a dark place. I was thinking, I want to be 11 again, just discovering the world and having my whole life in front of me. No, I don't. That would suck. But reading that series was amazing. It was so helpful for me to be able to escape into this world. And also escape into this world where things may have been difficult, but I don't know why they seemed a bit simpler. Even though the end of the world was near for a lot of them. So maybe it wasn't simpler, but being a third party just looking in on the world of Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling, it was amazing. But it wasn't just Harry Potter. I never did this, but I had a real hankering for watching early 2000s teenaged melodrama. So I had this desire to buy the OC. I never did. I still haven't watched it, but I imagine that would be fun to rewatch. And the reason why that seemed so appealing is because I wanted to exist in a world where the most complicated and most important thing is that girl that I like slept with that guy that I hate. And now I don't get to be with the girl. Like, that seems so simple now. Instead of these geopolitics, this plague, this governmental overreach, this terror, that seemed so simple. Now, although I didn't watch the OC, I did rewatch a couple of shows, The Office and The Big Bang Theory, and then I watched Young Sheldon. I know those last two, a lot of people hate them. I enjoy them. They're like comfort food for me. And then I discovered a new show thanks to my friend Sylvie, Veronica Mars. That's something that I had been meaning to watch for years since I heard Justin Courtney Pierre from Motion City Soundtrack sing I Fell Asleep Watching Veronica Mars Again, and I never got around to watching it. Finally, I did. It's amazing. As I said earlier this year, must have been last year at this point, I wanted to move to California and become a private detective and just drive around in a convertible. That seems like a dream, but nowadays you can't afford to go to California. No, it's too expensive. Next up was picking up a new hobby, and the main hobby that I picked up was watches. I know that seems like a weird hobby, but looking into watches, learning about the mechanism in them, learning about the different brands, their history, all of the stuff that goes into watches. I've not gone into the whole horology thing, looking into all timekeeping, but as far as watches go, it was so fun diving into that new hobby just head first, trying to learn as much as I could, just shoving all the information and all the videos into my head as I possibly could. Now, I'm fully aware, watches are incredibly materialistic. They are overpriced. You could spend your money in much better ways. You could invest in much better ways. But for me, it was just something that brought me joy. It's something that I needed. I liked the idea of having something that is purely mechanical on my wrist. It doesn't need a battery. It doesn't connect to anything. It's just something that has a bunch of gears and a spring in it. And it tells very accurate time. It kind of grounds me because I'm always on the internet. I'm always putting numbers in Excel. Having something like this, I can just look down and, hey, slow down a little bit. I still lost track of time way too much. The first 6 months, first year, it seems like a week. So I still lost track of time a lot. And I'm fully aware. Yeah, it's materialistic. It's vulgar in some sense because some of them are very ostentatious. Some of them are incredibly expensive. And I know I have probably spent too much on them. I have made sure that I don't put myself in any kind of financial situation that would be damaging. To be clear, I have not gone into debt for any watches. I refuse to do that. I think that's stupid. To each their own, though. You want to go into debt, you do you. I'd recommend against it, but that was something that was a lot of fun for me, and I got a couple watches that will be with me for the rest of my life to commemorate certain milestones. One of them being locked inside for 1 year, which also coincided with hitting 250,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So I said, watch time. And I think I need a watch for being locked inside for 2 years. I hate everything. And the last thing was getting outside for a little bit. This is nothing special at all, but for the first couple of months of lockdown, I was just waking up, going and sitting down at my computer and starting work at 6 in the morning, 5:45 sometimes, just working from the time I woke up until about 4 p.m., 5 p.m. sometimes, and then coming over here, starting work on my YouTube channels, testing microphones, looking at watches, reading audiobooks, doing this, that, podcasts, recording music, anything and everything. So it was from the time I woke up until the time I went to sleep, I was in here except for 1 day a week. I would leave for 20, 30 minutes to go get groceries, and that's it. So I started after that. I realized, oh, this is not healthy. So I started going for 2-mile walks every morning. And it's been incredibly, incredibly helpful. It is so nice getting out and doing that every single day. It's beneficial, but clearly not for keeping the weight off or losing weight. I'm not jogging 15 miles. I'm just going for a walk to get out and get a little bit of sun and breathe some fresh air so it's not the same stale home air that I've been breathing for 2 years. That's what's helped me cope. I don't know. I don't know what this episode is. I didn't want to record. I didn't want to look at news, so this is what we're getting. Commemorating 2 years of being locked inside. on the Bandage Says podcast. Let me know what you did to cope over the last couple of years, of 2 years of 15 days, of 2 weeks to slow the spread. Let me know what you think. Let me know what helped you. And now let's talk about what I've been testing. He's going to say the thing. I know. I'm sick of it too. You have been listening to it. It's the Warm Audio I just realized I was slightly off axis. Warm Audio WA47 Jr. I bet there's going to be way too much room tone in this one. I'm an idiot. I didn't even speak into it properly for half the episode. It's $300, I think. It's a U47 inspired microphone, I guess. It's FET, no tube in there. And that's all that I've got to say about it. I'm running it into my Universal Audio. We'll do all the standard processing. We'll not be doing any kind of EQ, but that is what you are listening to. Warm Audio WA47 Jr. That's my Sean Connery impression. Junior. We named the dog Indiana. I need to watch that movie again. Goodness gracious, it's been a while. I love Indiana Jones so much. Junior! Okay, let's talk about what you had to say. First comment comes from Rosenzweig. I don't know. Oh, Moishi Rosenzweig. They say, thank you so much for this episode. I love your podcast. I wanted to ask you, is there a reason you do not use the black version of the RE20? Thank you again. Moishi, thank you very much for the comment. There is a very specific reason why I was not using the black version of the RE20. I already responded to you, but I want to share this with anybody who is also curious. If you were just listening last week, you will not have noticed this, but I used the beige green RE20. The reason for that is last week I also was using the RE320 in the episode, and because of that, I didn't want anybody to get confused. I didn't want anybody to think that I was saying, hey, I'm talking into the RE20, and think, he screwed up. He grabbed the RE320, because the RE320 is a black microphone, and the RE20 is either a black or a beige. So I wanted to make it abundantly clear. This is the RE320, this is the RE20. So I grabbed the beige RE20. The black RE20 is back there on the shelf, but wanted to make it abundantly clear which microphones I was speaking into. Thank you very much for the comment. Hopefully that was a enjoyable answer, informative answer, I don't know. Next, we have a comment from Diggable Creative. They say, I've been asking for a third and fourth angle. Why? Because the quote-unquote professional YouTuber, the one with 1 billion subscribers with pristine audio, lighting that cost $1 million USD, and fancy camera angle says, be original, do not copy others. Then what happens? Everyone tries to emulate that YouTuber. Insert sheep sound. Bah! I've suggested on any Talking Head YouTube channel, do a third and fourth angle. Someone will be triggered by the suggestion. Please do not stop doing the 2 angles. It's part of your show, separates you from others, and the massive knowledge you provide to others. Or a missing tooth cam. DC, thank you very much for the comment. First off, I am unable to give you a missing tooth cam. Great news. Great news. I am so thrilled about this. I was waiting to go in and just get bad news. Oh, boy, we got to rip it out. Your tooth looks terrible. I cannot believe it's this bad. We're getting the pliers. We can't wait any longer. We're going to put it on that tooth and just yank it out. I went in. They said, this is perfect. What a great root canal they did. This is incredible. Yes, we could give you a new crown, but we're just going to cement this one right back in there. Slapped it back on. I'm a happy camper. I was waiting to get terrible news. It's going to cost you $3,000. $50 in and out the door. 15 minutes. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So no more missing tooth cam from me. I'm a happy camper. I cannot tell you how happy I was when I found that out. I dread going to the dentist, assuming I'm going to get terrible news, because when I was younger, I didn't take the best care of my teeth, and I would always get bad news when I went to the dentist. Or I had a dentist that was running a scam, just saying, we got a cavity, we got a drill. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were trying to put their kid through college. There's no way of knowing. And That was an unnecessary tangent. A third and fourth angle. I don't think that's necessary for a show like mine. Because I do think that two angles could be considered a bit excessive because it's not doing anything crazy. It's not jumping to the other side of the room. But I think this secondary angle is providing as much value as I can get from additional angles. If I did another angle, it would just be looking up at double chins or something, just sitting right underneath me. I guess that would be funny for one episode. But another issue I don't have enough cameras. I guess I do have Go XLRs, but the reason I stopped using Go XLRs for my secondary angles is the color science from the Go XLR. Did I just say Go XLR? The GoPro. What the hell? A Go XLR is an interface. A GoPro, a little camera, a tiny little action camera. The color science on the GoPro is massively different from a Canon 90D, and I am colorblind. So trying to get the camera angles to match was a constant battle. It was a constant battle. I was never able to win. People would always say, "Oh, why do you look green in this one and red in that one? It doesn't make any sense." So now I used to use a Canon 90D and a Canon 70D, or prior to that, Canon 70D and Canon T6i, then Canon 90D, Canon 70D, Canon 70D died, then Canon 90D, Canon 90D. So I got two Canon DSLRs, and I have my 70D back there. I need to ship it in and get that repaired. Then maybe I could do for one show just that third angle, just looking up at my double chins, because that would be funny. I don't know. I think for talking head shows, if there are multiple people, 3, 4, 5 angles make sense. One overhead shot, one sky cam, eye in the sky type thing, and then one camera for each person. That would be 5 shots. And then maybe one wide for everybody on one side of the table, and then one wide for everybody on the other side. So you have, what would that be, 7 shots? I think that would make sense. Going to be expensive, but yeah. I think the bottom line is the content. The content is the most important aspect of it, but sometimes you gotta throw in something interesting like 7 camera angles. But for the time being, I'm going to stick with my measly bum 2 camera angles, and I'm going to be happy with it because I still really enjoy this angle, even though it makes my work a little bit more difficult. Because then I have to create a multi-angle camera setup in Final Cut Pro, switch between them 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, or I guess it would be 2, 3, 2, 3 because channel 1 is always my audio channel. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, and then it has to transcode and render. Pain in the butt. But I like the end result, so it's not going anywhere regardless of what the gentleman last week recommended. And that seemed to be the consensus. Do not get rid of the secondary angle. And I think everybody really enjoyed the massive or the very quick rapid fire switch between angle 1, angle 2, 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 angle 1, angle 2. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 1, angle 2. Camera's about to die. Let's start it over again. And we're back. That was seamless. I am a professional. Next, we have a comment from Eager Eyes Robert Kosara. They say, I honestly often skip to the conclusions on your reviews to figure out if it's worth watching the in-depth comparisons. I think short summary videos in addition to the full ones would be helpful. You'd get more views overall, though your total watch time would probably go down. Robert, thank you very much for the comment. I am going to say bad, 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 bad. Terrible, bad. That's not why I include the conclusions. That's not why I do it. I'm going to put out a video this coming week. First, because I'm a bit lazy and I'm burned the hell out. I need to cool off for a little bit, and this will be easy because it won't take me 20 hours to make it. But the reason why I include all the tests, I could easily just say, here's my conclusion, believe me, trust me, here's what you should think about this microphone too. I could easily do that. It would save me a bunch of time. But instead, I include every single test that I do so that you are able to hear it, so that you are able to listen to it, and develop your own opinion on it before I insert myself at all. I try not to include any of my opinion up until the conclusion time, because I want you to be able to listen to it in an untreated space with a loud mechanical keyboard on an electric guitar, acoustic guitar, singing from all different angles so that you can say, oh, I really like how it sounded on that, but it didn't work here. And that is the one case where I needed to work really well. This didn't work well in that situation, so I don't like it. So you are able to make up your own opinion, and you don't have to trust me. I don't want people to trust me. Obviously, I do want to be trustworthy, but I don't want people to just take my word for things. It's why I include audio samples. I want people to make up their own minds about what they're listening to, because when I am sharing my opinion, it is my opinion based on my experiences, based on my preferences. And our experiences, our preferences are going to differ from one another. It's why I include all the tests, and why occasionally I will say, ooh, that was bad, during the actual testing. But I try to avoid doing that until the conclusion so that you can develop your own opinion, and then if you want, you can say, I don't care what this idiot has to say, I'm clicking off. I structured it that way very intentionally because I do want you to be able to hear everything. I want you to have the ability and develop the ears to determine what you like. And so that you can also disagree with me and say, he's completely off base here. What an idiot. So that's what my video is going to be on on Tuesday, because gosh darn it, I need a break. I need a vacation. I'm getting too old for this crud. All right, let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. Welcome to the Ask Bandrew segment. If you have questions, go to askbandrew.com. There are instructions on how to send in audio, video, and text-based questions. I do prefer audio and video because then I don't have to read. We have a SpeakPipe app on there, so you can send in an audio question directly from your phone if you want, directly from your browser. You can do any of that. You can send in an audio clip to the email. There are instructions everywhere. Turtles all the way down or something. That doesn't even fit. You get the point. AskBandrew.com. First, we have a voice submission from somebody who I did not write their name down. So take it away, unnamed person.
Hey, I guess kind of been a long time listener, not like a super active question maker or something. Like I've used a lot of your videos to kind of help myself figure out like what I want as far as equipment wise. I recently ordered the PreSonus Revelator IO24, but it's kind of like a gamble because I've been reading a lot online through whether it be like Reddit, the actual PreSonus forums, but a lot of people have started saying that there's like a issue with like fluttering noises for like lower impedance, or like I believe that's the term, for headphones or in-ear monitors, where like when you're listening through the actual like interface itself, whether there be any sort of noise or not, like extra music or whatnot, or whatever going on in the background, there's like a fluttering sound or some sort of like high pitched kind of noise. I was wondering if you were experiencing that. I do know that, you know, your current headphones has like 300 ohms of the, I guess like, it needs at least like 300 ohms of power or something like that, but it doesn't actually, for like 300 ohms and up, apparently that noise doesn't happen. So I was wondering if you were testing other headphones within your review or not. Thanks.
Thank you very much for the question. You are asking about the PreSonus Revelator IO24. I know somebody in the comments, Darren, is going to be very excited. I will tell you what. I lost interest in this thing. I got it. I started getting emails saying, hey, have you noticed this issue, this issue, this issue? And I got DMs from other reviewers saying, hey, have you noticed how terrible this is or this is? And then I said, I'm done. I don't care about this enough. I'll let somebody like Julian focus on it and make a review about it. I don't remember buying the interface. I don't remember where I got it. I couldn't find any emails. Persona said they didn't send it to me. So I must have bought it somewhere, but I couldn't find a receipt for it. I don't know how I got it. And frankly, I lost interest in it. And on top of that, this is me being very, probably too transparent. As soon as I saw Julian start to make reviews to the quality that he does for audio interfaces, I lost almost all interest in making audio interface reviews because I can offer almost zero value add to the conversation. The only other thing that I can do that Julian doesn't do, I'm sure he's learning guitar right now, and in 6 months he's going to be the greatest guitarist in the world, because that's just what he does. But the only thing that I'm able to do that he is not is do the DI instrument comparison, doing that. And that's the only thing that I can offer that he's not able to currently. So I kind of lost interest in doing a lot of interface reviews because there's nothing that I can really add to the conversation compared to his videos, because he's so much more in depth and he has all the stats to back it up, all the data, all the analysis, all the ability to rank everything. But he does the quantitative stuff. I just do the qualitative stuff. Hey, I like how it sounds. Hey, it doesn't ruin the microphone. Hey, it works well with the guitar. And that's compared to, here is how, why? That was my impression of Julian. Julian, if you're listening, I'm sorry. That's not how you sound. Here is number 1. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. I don't know what accent. I don't do accents. But you get the point. He can just rank them and say, quantitatively, this is better than this one. Quantitatively, this is better or worse than this one. So I lost interest in it. I doubt I'll ever review it. Next, we have another voice submission from somebody else I didn't write their name down for. So go ahead and take it away, another unnamed person.
Hello. So I'm currently using the Shure MV7 on XLR mode plugged into the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. And I watched a couple of reviews of this microphone, both your review of the MV7 and the MV7X before deciding to purchase. And I noticed that one of the many problems of this microphone is its poor plosive rejection with the provided windscreen. And one of the easiest solutions to this problem that a lot of reviews brought up was putting the windscreen of the SM7B on it. But I noticed that in neither of the MV7 or MV7X reviews that you did, you brought this trick up. And I was just wondering if it was a case of you didn't know about it, or if it was just wanting to review the microphone like as is right out of the box.
Thank you very much for the voice submission and the question. To summarize, you're saying, why didn't I review the Shure MV7 or the MV7X with the Shure SM7B windscreen? Simply, it's because I think the most valuable way for me to make a review. Why did I sound like a caveman? Most valuable way for me to make a review is to use the microphone exactly as it is out of the box. It's why I don't throw microphones into shock mounts. I thought there was a shock mount there. There's not. It's why I use the microphones in the stands they come with and the mounts they come with, and with the plosive protection that they come with, the wind protection that they come with. I understand that the SM7B windscreen may improve the plosive rejection. The issue I have with that is, at what point do I draw the line? Because in every mic review, then I could say, just buy the Hakan P110 and use it on the microphone. You'll never get a plosive, and now this microphone doesn't have any issues with plosives. So I understand what you're saying. Yes, the SM7B's windscreen does improve plosive rejection of the MV7 and MV7X, but then again, every microphone would have better plosive rejection from using a Hakan P110. So unless it's an accessory made exclusively for that microphone, or specifically for that microphone, I should say, or if it comes in the box, then I don't think it's necessarily valuable in a review. Now, I am saying this from the perspective of somebody as a reviewer, somebody who is a reviewer. I am reviewing the product so that people understand what they get out of the box, the sound quality that they can expect when they buy it, put it on the stand, and start recording. I do understand it would also be valuable to say, well, if you buy this, it'll get better. But then it brings up the question for me, well, where do I draw the line? Because, now every microphone, no more plosive problems, just buy the Hakan P110 pop filter. I get it, though. And also, as far as if I was aware of it, I may have seen that, but I try not to watch anybody else's reviews of microphones before I do mine, because then their opinion might seep their way as I punch my boom arms and hurt my finger. Their opinions might seep into my head, and I may just say what they said. So I try not to watch any videos covering these products before I review it. I may have seen it in Tom Buck's because I think he may have had a video up with the big purple windscreen on it, and I thought, that looks funny, huh? But yeah, that's why I do it, because I think the most valuable information that I can provide is how the microphone performs right out of the box. And if I start to go down the road of, well, if you buy this other accessory that's not designed for it, then it'll get better, then where do I draw the line? Yeah, every microphone would sound better with a pop filter, especially a $100 pop filter. Just do it. Just buy it. Problem solved. Your microphones will never have a plosive problem again. I don't think I have any movies to talk about. Let me go ahead and look at my list of movies that I watched and see if anything stood out to me. If there was anything, I didn't really watch as many as I should have. Yes, I do have one to talk about. I'm going to go grab it really quick. The movie of the week comes from 2015. It is nearly 3 hours long, and it was written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. Many of you already know what it's going to be based on that information. It is The Hateful Eight. Let me tell you why this movie works. Quentin Tarantino is the master of pacing. I don't know how he does it. He's done it in every single one of his movies that I've watched. It feels like it's 30 minutes long when really it's 3 hours long. I don't know how he does it. Setup, payoff, setup, payoff, setup, payoff, or payoff, setup, payoff, setup, because that's the Tarantino way. Here's the conclusion. Let me show you how we got there. This movie is no different. It's a mixture of that masterful pacing, as well as one of my most favorite challenges for a filmmaker. It's why I love the original 12 Angry Men movie. It's set in one scene, it's set in one room, and they have to make that entertaining and have the story progress and have character development without any ability to have a bunch of external shots, external factors play into the character development. It all has to occur in that one room. There are a few scenes here leading up to when they arrive at the, what is it called? Haberdashery, that are not in the haberdashery. It's in a stagecoach, but it is still very limited, very closed off. And all of the character development, really, all of the action, all of the progression, all of the exposition, everything happens in one room with no walls, with no different partitions. It is just a single room. It is amazing when filmmakers are able to successfully do that. They don't have the benefit of keeping your interest by changing scenery or having 50 million cuts within 30 seconds. They don't have that benefit. They have to make a good story, and they have to have good direction. I just thought of something that I completely forgot about because I blacked it out. I was whining about this in my Discord. Kurt Russell, in this movie, the woman in this, the villain, what's her face? The woman in this, Daisy Damagru, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, says, "Hey, can I pick up that guitar and play it?" And the guitar that she is playing is an 1870s Martin acoustic. This is a 150-year-old guitar, priceless, on loan from Martin's museum. And what was supposed to happen? They made 6 duplicates of this, 6 stunt versions of this, and Jennifer Jason Leigh picks it up and is playing it on set. And Kurt Russell comes up and grabs it. And at that point, they're supposed to cut, and Kurt Russell is supposed to get a stunt guitar. Didn't happen. So Kurt Russell smashes a 150-year-old priceless Martin acoustic. I saw some estimates saying it's about $500,000, or it was $400,000. And that pricing, that estimate was years ago, so now it's probably well over $500,000. He smashed a $500,000 guitar for this movie. I found that so incredibly sad, so upsetting. And you can see Jennifer Jason Leigh saying, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." And that was her legitimate reaction. It was her legitimate reaction because she knew what was about to happen. And she knew that it's so sad to watch. This guitar survived 150 years. Through the Great Depression, through World War I, World War II. Obviously didn't go to World War I and World War II, but survived those times. Only to be destroyed because Kurt Russell wasn't aware that it was the real thing. It wasn't one of the stunt guitars. And because of that, Martin Guitars said, "Screw it, we're never lending anybody a guitar again for a movie. Never. It's never happening again." And I understand that completely. That has to have been devastating. I was devastated. I don't work at Martin. I was devastated by that. It was so incredibly sad. But as far as a film, it's an incredible film. Quentin Tarantino is a master filmmaker, and I loved this movie. The wide open shots. I know I said it all takes place in one room. As they get up to the part where they go to the haberdashery, the single room, there are some beautiful wide open shots in a snowy Western style town or Western style landscape. I love it. Just a great all around movie. Worth a watch if you've got 3 hours to kill and you want 3 hours to feel like 30 minutes. That's all that I've got for you today. Nothing else. I hope you enjoyed that. I know there's no news that I talked about, but I hope you got some value or some interest out of me talking about how I dealt with all the BS nonsense over the last couple of years and how I survived through that. All right, that's all I've got. I love you. I'll talk to you in a week or two. Bye-bye. A week or two? No, what am I... hang on. I'm not done yet. What am I talking about? I hope you have an amazing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next Sunday, I will talk at you. Next Sunday, I will talk at you. I love you. You're the best. Have an amazing week. Bye.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.